forward to something more modern, the pardons with Biden. Biden has done an 11-year pardon, including everything that has happened in this total time. So which is pretty us all in. But maybe the pardon's for Joe himself, because my opinion, we can argue about it, but I'll just lay my grounds down. It's just pretty sus, and I will guarantee a number of pardons before the 20th of January, and a lot of them will just so happens to have been, as Joe Biden says in his statement after giving Hunter a pardon, that the criminal justice system was actually was a war, like a war against them, against the Biden family. But Trump would say the same. But yeah, there'll be plenty of
I mean, I
other
don't doubt.
pardons.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to disagree with you that Biden's probably going to give a bunch of pardons before he leaves. But that's what every president does. But like, whether or not they're like a corrupt one or a political one or something like that is another question, right? Like, claiming that there's going to be a war against these people has to have like some basis for it, right?
It's called
So like,
war. He basically, I can't remember the words he used. I'm getting, but it was like, basically the justice system was against the Biden family or Hunter himself.
well,
Um,
I was making the case to that last guy that I would say that it probably was to try and get at Biden, because again, they investigated that for 5 years and weren't able to like substantiate any of their claims across 3 different agencies that were or I'm sorry, 4.
okay.
One being a special investigator, special counsel investigator to try and find something on him, right?
Okay.
But like
Okay.
the second thing I just wanted to say really quick was like if Republicans didn't want to give the Democrats ammunition to say that there's a like war being waged on them, maybe the incoming FBI director shouldn't have put out a hit list of like 80 names of people in journalistic institutions and in the political
Funny.
system that are going to be prosecuted for reasons.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the FBI, because if I remember rightly, during the month of October 2016, 2020, the Hunter Biden laptop was elusive and infamous. I couldn't share it on DMs on Twitter. I couldn't do nothing. No one could share it. In
For
fact,
how long do you think that was? How
oh,
long do you?
that's right. The FBI, the reason why I bought it, 51 agents from the FBI said it's classic Russian disinformation. And it just wasn't, was it? They knew it. They
Okay,
all
so first
fucking
off,
knew it.
it was 51 former intelligence people. All right, that said it
Yeah, of
had.
course. Of course. Of course. They want to cover their neck because they know they're all full of shit.
Well, they were former ones, and like, okay,
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you the story that was being given out into the public. Okay, there is a blind computer repair shop guy who Hunter Biden went in and dropped off his laptop full
I
of
know the
tons of.
story.
Yeah, I know. Does it sounds fake to anybody
It's
with a?
true.
Yeah,
It's
it sounds
true,
fucking fake.
though.
Well, yeah, it's true. But these
It's so
former
berserk
well,
because he
hold on.
forgot his laptop. He forgot where he
Yeah,
put his laptop.
he's a drug addict. Yeah, of course he left his laptop. He probably didn't even remember he had a
That's why it
laptop,
sounds
right?
untrue. That's why it sounds untrue, but it's true. We now know it. We knew it was
Yeah,
true
we
then.
now know it's true. But the 51 former intelligence people probably didn't have the information, right?
How come it was mislaid then? How come the laptop was mislaid for a very long time? And they refound it. They refound the laptop that was given to them by the computer shop keeper. He
Wait, hold
actually
on. Do
gave
you
them the
know anything
laptop.
about this story? The
Um,
FBI
uh,
didn't have the laptop initially, right? It was given to Giuliani.
right. But when the laptop when it was in the FBI's hands, they mislaid it for a long period of time, and then they refound it under pressure.
I don't think that they mislaid it. What are you talking about?
Yes, they did. But they couldn't find it.
I hold on. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say this before. FBI
So you
lose.
don't get me on this.
Well, I'm just gonna like Google it because I've never heard someone say that they just
Mislaid. It
fucking.
didn't say lose, did I? But Go on.
I'm sorry.
Pick it
I'm
out. Pick it out of the crowd. Pick it out of the crowd. I obviously know nothing about the case. I've just got the
okay. When you say
dates.
mislay, is lose not a synonym to you?
Well, it could well be, but if you think
I wasn't trying to like
if you
change
pick
your
that out, that if you
words.
but by your statements that I know nothing about the case is bollocks because I've given dates, times, and basically, well, they were
Well, hold
FBI,
on.
they were
The reason I
former
say, do you
FBI.
know? Hold on,
It
really quick.
doesn't matter whether they're
I'm just
former
gonna calm.
FBI.
I mean,
In fact,
hold on. I just want to chill us out for a second. The reason I said, do you know anything about this case, is because you said I couldn't share anything on Twitter. I couldn't share it in DMs, and then I said, for how long? And then you just moved past that. The reason you couldn't share it on Twitter was for 24 hours, and it was because nobody knew whether or not it was real or not, and they didn't know
right there,
whether it was
it wasn't for 24 hours.
It was for 24 hours.
So
That is how
was
long it was suppressed on Twitter.
Was it the New York Times that published it originally, and wasn't their account shut down for weeks until they
It was the
deleted
New
the
York
story?
Post. It was a New
New
York
York
Post,
Post. I
and it was,
knew it wasn't
and
Times. I know
yeah,
it was
yeah,
New
yeah.
York.
But I believe, now I could be wrong. It
That
might
went
have
on
been
for
3
weeks.
days.
That went on for weeks.
No, absolutely not.
So
Twitter
they were penalised
suppress-
more. They were penalised more than everyone else.
Wait, hold on. Hunter
It's dirty day. Stinks day.
laptop. Okay, let me see how long this actually. Here, let me.
Why can't
Sorry.
somebody just bring?
Yeah, sorry, I moved it off screen in case I accidentally mistyped something. 1 second. Sorry, girlfriend texting me. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Unleash the story. Blah blah blah. Damaging material. Blah blah blah. I want to see how long was it.
It was hell.
Twitter's former chief legal officer echoed Roth by saying that Twitter admitted that its initial action was wrong and changed its policy within 24 hours.
And could it be shared from that point on? Because
Yes.
as far as I remember, it couldn't even be shared. But it was totally discounted, wasn't it? As Russian
because it sounded
disinformation.
fake as. Yeah, I thought that it was fake because it sounded fake as a blind computer salesman. Hunter Biden went into his shop in Delaware, dropped it off, full of incriminating
but
pictures.
when you know he's a crackhead, it makes sense.
I'm not sure that it him being a crackhead was super wide knowledge until those pictures came out of his monster. After everyone saw the pictures of the crack pipes that were taken off of the laptop, yeah, everyone knew that he was a crack addict. But before that,
everyone knew he was
I'm
a
not sure.
crackhead. Everyone, well, maybe not everyone, but everyone knows now. But it wasn't a secret that he was a petulant drug user and pretty bad drugs as well. There's lots of footage of him in hell of a mess over the time.
Right. I don't know if the footage and the pictures came out before or after the laptop was leaked.
Well, he did taking photos of himself taking drugs with whores, didn't he? Did have a
yeah, but I think but again, I think all those pictures came out after the laptop information was leaked. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes from the laptop.
Yeah, but so what I'm saying is
laptop.
To me, as someone that didn't know dick all about Hunter Biden because I don't give a fuck about the president's family unless they're doing official actions, right? I don't know dick all about Hunter Biden. So at the end of the day, it sounded super fake because not everybody in the world knew that it was a crack-addled weirdo who his dead brother's wife.
Could you think of any reason why Burisma would pay him £1 million a year?
They probably were hoping that he could peddle influence, but he didn't seem to be very good at it because the U.S. government still pressured the Ukrainian government.
The big fella, 10%.
Yeah, but again, there's been 5 years of investigations into the Biden crime family, and they have not been able to secure a
You're never going to get a result there. Because these pardons are going to fly out now. They're going to fly out these, and because of what he's done, Trump's going to let all the J6s off. He's going to pardon loads of people now, and he can refer straight back to Biden. He can refer straight back to Biden and said he lied to the public for over a year.
Hold on, we're jumping to 5 different things. I just want to talk about one thing.
We're still about pardons. We're still all about pardons.
Right, but we were talking about the Hunter laptop thing, and then we were talking about Burisma, and now we're talking about
which
who
is all
Trump
to
is or
do,
isn't going to
like I
pardon.
started with. Well, Trump can pardon who he wants now because he's got a free
Yeah,
rein
and
to
he
give him a green
and
light.
he
Give him a
well,
green
no,
light.
this doesn't give him a green light. He corruptly pardoned everyone that helped him do criminal actions, leading up to him leaving office the first time.
Yeah, but Joe done his son because his son was up to his neck in it, and so is Joe.
He's been again. Okay, I'm going to say this again.
And
If the Republican,
you
if
can
the
say it you can say it a million times. It wouldn't make any difference. We all know
if
no
you
one's going
well,
to
if
get
you can,
prosecuted. We all know no one's going to get prosecuted, and everyone's going to walk away.
well, here's the thing. You're giving me an all roads lead to Rome to your specific conclusion right now. There's literally nothing that I could say that could change your mind because every single thing that I say is just another thing that proves what you're saying. If I say, "Oh, well, I think that the Burisma thing was a big nothing burger. Oh, well, it probably wasn't a nothing burger because, they had all this evidence, but they're not going to investigate them anyways. And if they did want to investigate them, well, now they can't do it. Like, there's literally nothing that I could say that could ever change your mind.
Okay.
Every single, path that I go, it leads to your conclusion.
Let's move this on. Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah.
Just want to see your position on, obviously, here. Do you know how much money America has spent on Ukraine at the moment?
A couple $100 billion, maybe?
It's 183 billion
Based.
currently. It's mostly 200. One, do you think that money's well spent when I believe what it could do for America would be unreal when it comes to the problems you've got, and just like a lot of Western countries around Europe.
Well, I would agree.
America.
I would agree in some respects if like the overwhelming majority of that money that we sent is actually just the value of the missiles that we're sending them. I don't think that if we took, like let's say 120 billion of it was not cash aid, right? Which I think it's a little bit more than that. But like the majority of it is.
I think I checked the other day. It's around. I think it's maybe 50-50 yellow. You check now. Check now if you want it, because I think it did say when I looked into it. I can't remember.
How much has U.S. sent to Ukraine? My understanding is the overwhelming majority of what we've sent is all right. This is straight from the horse's mouth. Launches $1 billion in military assistance. To date, we have provided approximately $61.4 billion in military assistance as Russia launched its premeditated blah 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 invasion of Ukraine.
61 military aid, and the rest is money. Then 2/3.
Oh, this was released today. So 64.1 billion since 2014, and then 61.4 billion since 2022.
Well, you're gonna have to. I just said 64 billion twice. I think I heard. Is that right?
Right. They've sent the same amount in 2 years than we did in 8 years since 2014.
So is that military aid or total aid? Because I had a different total, 183. I had a different total. I only did it like a week ago.
Let's see here. I just clicked on the first one. That was a DoD link. That might just be the DoD. Let me see here.
Yeah, I mean, I can have a look now, but I want to try and stay on point. So whether it's 120 billion or 183 billion, it's an extraordinary amount of money. And more importantly, the reality of war in Ukraine.
Okay, so this was September 27th of this year. It says of the 106 billion that I'm seeing here, we have budget support that's 33 billion, humanitarian support is 2.8 billion, and then 69.8 billion is weapons, equipment, and other military support.
We're getting different numbers all around, didn't we? It's getting between like 100 million and 100.
Yeah, if you want to like send me a link to what you're looking at, I don't know.
Oh, I checked it like a week ago, but I know that if whether it's 120 or 100 or 180, it's extraordinary. That's 1 billion. 1 billion is 100 100,000 million, isn't it? But the more important point about it all is the men that have sacrificed themselves. The numbers are like through the roof. I'm not sure if you're aware. We can go into the number crunching time now. They will
But
deny these
ultimately,
numbers.
ultimately, how much money we've given to Ukraine, I think, is based because Russia is trying to upend the way that we've been doing diplomatic relations for the past 80 years since the end of the Second World War. We haven't been into this whole thing about going around and just conquering other nations to seize their land or to
What? You haven't been doing that. The U.S.
I will say this. As bad as the Iraq War was,
have a little think. Have a little think what you just said.
I trust me. I know what I'm saying.
If you don't like their style of democracy, you normally get involved in their.
Do we try to annex any of the nations? I'm not saying that the Iraq War was good, but I am saying that there's probably a difference.
What about Libya?
Libya?
What about Ukraine 2014 when the CIA caused a coup?
Listen, I have 10
well,
more
that's
minutes.
true.
No. I'm not trying to cut you off completely. This is what I'm going to say. I have no, hold on, just real quick. I have 10 minutes left. There's one person left, and you're going deep into stuff that I would love to debate you in length on. Are you free on Friday? Because that's what I'm going to be streaming next, and it would be cool to talk to you and the last guy that I talked to.
Okay, all right, no problem at all.
Okay, cool. And that way you can send me whatever you're looking at, and we won't have to sit here for 20 minutes trying to figure out what numbers we're talking about.
Yeah, but
fine?
Like I said, the US gets involved in all world politics, and if they don't like it,
we're the biggest. We're the biggest dick swinging around.
Yeah, your statement was the opposite. Then, though, you were saying, "Oh, we don't." And you're like, "Yeah,
hold
you
on,
do.
Hold on, no.
You get involved in lots of stuff."
I wasn't saying that we don't get involved. We obviously get involved. I'm saying we don't try and conquer land. We don't violate an entire country's sovereignty to take it over.
Iraq. You went to war on a lie in Iraq. We all went to war on a lie. The UK went to war on a lie. It was a lie.
Yeah, I don't defend the Iraq War.
It's a sovereign country.
Yeah, but we didn't try to annex them, did we? I'm not defending it, but I will say that it's probably better than
a million civilians died in the region.
I'll take your word for it right now.
I'm not a leftist, by the way.
I'm not a commie. I'm not a conservative. I'm a center left liberal. I'll defend some of our foreign policy and I'll attack other parts of our foreign policy.
Think about Libya. Think what you did in Libya.
Libya was
with Colonel Gaddafi.
Justified. Libya was so justified. That guy was killing so many of his own people. To the point where even Libya's staunchest defender on the UN Security Council, Russia, they could have
believe in the hype.
Well, hold on. Russia could have vetoed the UN action, the NATO action that happened over there. They could have vetoed that. But guess what? Even Russia saw that it was so bad that they couldn't defend it. That's why Gaddafi got a bayonet straight into his asshole, because it was so bad that was going on over there. Even Putin was like, "Man, dude, we can't openly defend this."
Do you know what he said in the UN meeting when he spoke in front of everyone? He said, "I'm stopping the influx and the invasion of Africans into Europe. I'm the only one stopping it." As soon as they took him out, it started, and it hasn't stopped. He was exactly right at the time, and the reason why they got rid of him is because he was going to do an African dollar, and they were going to.
That wouldn't. Nobody would go from the American dollar to the Libyan dollar. Libya literally has no even before it fucking collapsed.
You think he's a monster. You think he's a monster.
Yeah, because he was fucking killing his own people.
You know when no one paid electric, don't you?
Wait, what?
No one. There was no electric bills in Libya. They had free electric, mate. Free schools, free hospitals.
You know what? Would you trade never having to pay an electric bill again if it meant that your leader might just one day start artillery striking your fucking house?
I mean, do you think it was worth going into Iraq?
No, hold on. Answer my question.
No, but that's what you do. That's what you do. You go into places under democracy and shit. You destabilize
the Iraq War
region.
Is probably the worst foreign policy blunder.
Thousands of people. You kill hundreds of thousands.
Oh my God, dude! I have 2 minutes now. I want to continue the conversation, okay? But I have 2 minutes, and I'm just gonna
I believe. I'll see you
Okay.
Friday.
All right. Bye.
Ta-da.
Okay. Dungeon Meowster, did you? Oh, I don't think that you accepted the rules. You have to thumbs up the rules, Dungeon Meowster. Okay. Really quick. Can you attempt to unmute? Okay. If you can't unmute yourself, you're gonna have to drop out and then join back in. We have literally 5 minutes. Okay. Rapid fire. I really have to wrap this up.
Oh, sorry. Hey, I figured I'd say hi. So it says Dungeon Master. I'm actually Zapcat.
Zapcat. That sounds familiar. Have we talked before?
Yeah, I've been in 2 of your other chats actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
A couple days ago we talked about guns only because I was curious about it.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
I figured I was gonna pop in, say hi, see how you're doing. You seemed really frustrated the other day, and just now you seemed very frustrated too.
Because like the reason I'm frustrated is because like I feel like the kinds of interesting conversations are completely like overshadowed by like conspiracy like bullshit and like looking at foreign policy blunders from 20 almost 30 years ago that like we have like a collective PTSD in the United States around Iraq because everything is compared to Iraq. Like, even when we're doing good
Iraq
things,
did change a lot of things.
I mean, it did,
It's
and it
bound
was
to
bad.
happen.
Yeah, but like now we can't even do good things like defend Ukraine or like defend Taiwan without everybody saying that we're like the warmongers when like we're not the ones invading anyone anymore, right? We've moved on from that
That's
foreign
pendulum
policy.
theory. That's pendulum theory right there. You swing one way, everyone freaks out, tries to knock it back the other way. But like then they go a little bit too far, it's gonna swing back. It's just
Yeah.
you got to give people time.
But I listen, dude. The reason I'm frustrated is because I thought the exact same thing when I first started streaming about like for like 2 years. I thought, okay, we've been seeing people get more and more like into conspiracy theories for the past, 3-4 years. But like eventually it's going to start swinging the other way. And unfortunately, literally, it's almost impossible to have a conversation anymore without like a million rabbit holes of conspiracy theories that lead to nowhere, but like for some reason I have to accept all of the facts around it as being part of some like larger conspiracy, which is so ultimately frustrating because there's so many good criticisms of the United States, there's so many good criticisms of the UN, there's good criticisms of Israel, there's good criticisms of like literally everything, but we can't have those conversations, kind of like the gun conversation that we were having the other day. Like at a certain point, I just like I can't have a conversation that involves like any actual solution because what the problem is overshadowed by like this global cabal of people. I guess like according to that last guy, like for some or the guy before, all of our European allies, because they're leftists, wanted to defend Hunter Biden, who was never a politician in the United States, from any
Yeah,
kind
I
of
found that kind of confusing. I'm not gonna lie. That seemed a little bit nonsensical.
Yeah, and like at a certain point, like I'll entertain the conversations for content, but it's like I do care about my country and I do care about like what solutions there are that we could possibly, arrive at if people were willing to have those conversations. But like the further you go on the left or the right, like at a certain point, like it's just all conspiracy theories.
Yeah, gibberish, basically. Yeah. No, it's frustrating. It's just that's why you got to find the reasonable people to talk to. They're not hard to find.
Like this one right here. Conspiracy theories are all nonsense until the FBI admits they were all true 20 years later and promises they've changed. But like,
where the f did you read that?
In my shorts chat.
Oh, I thought you were looking in the.
No. Like that statement right there. Like most conspiracy theories don't get proven right. Like the JFK one, right? Like the FBI assassinated JFK. Not true. The moon landing. That guess what? We landed on the moon, right? What's another like big conspiracy right now?
Fluorinated water.
Fluorinated water is going to turn the frogs gay. Like there's a million things that like it's all like insanity. And I want to have those like really good like arguments about like what we ought to do, because there are like I could see both sides of a lot of these different issues outside of some of our foreign policy, because I think our foreign policy was way more defensible under Biden than it was under either Trump, Obama, or Bush. But like, man, like I can't even get to the reasonable criticisms that I would have of them, because everyone's like saying that we're like funding Ukrainian Nazis who are going around and persecuting Christians in Lebanon because the Jews are controlling everything.
Oh God, yeah. So the Nazbol propaganda is what you're talking about, and Nazbol is probably one of the most. I know that sounds like a conspiracy theory, but hear me out. You know what a Nazbol is, right?
Yeah. I've seen like the Nazbol vortex and shit. Like I've seen all of these things. Like at a certain point,
it's Nazbol cope. Essentially, like anything surrounding Ukraine, where like it eventually wraps around to like this is a culture war. This is it's our Eastern Orthodox based culture versus Western incursion. And I guess the Jews get thrown in there too.
They always do.
Cope. It's cope.
It's cope for people that don't want to like actually learn how our systems work. Hey, I'm really sorry. I don't mean to cut the conversation short. But,
no, it's fine. I just wanted to check in.
Yeah. My girlfriend is like desperately wanting me to cook dinner, so it is my time to go. Well,
you have a good night.
Yeah, you too. I'll catch you next time. All right, man.
Yeah, of course. See ya.
Okay, bye. All right, guys. Well, welcome. For people that are new, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching on Kick, I'm Sondsol. I am a political science student. I like to talk about politics. I like to argue about politics. We talk about all sorts of fun things on here, like drama and politics. And I like to argue with people and chat about a lot of different things. Like, comment, and subscribe. I don't like to shill